Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. And 8 Claw, 7 November, say again. 7 November, go. I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my can use and 8 5, this is 7 November, Charlie. 8 5, right now. Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, reference to your last, you're bringing what you get into box size 1200 between teams and local. Also request your unit take inbound Nexus to see if we can try to get Whiskey 9 and 8 for Prashant to the playground.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that.
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf. My unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Yeah, I never took a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9, go. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9, go. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. And 8 Claw, 7 November, say again. 7 November, go.
All right, what's up, chat? If you can hear my audio, let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate that. If you can hear my daughter, let me know in the comments. Appreciate that too. Once we're good, I'll start answering questions. Hopefully, it all rolls smooth. Audio is connected. I guess there's an ad that has to play, so we'll probably wait for that. There we go. Thank you very much. All right. Starting up at the top, TVK. Can CMP examiners override recent diagnosis from private doc and during the CMP exam? Technically, yes, they can. I am active duty doing BDD. You're on a BDD claim. You have a current diagnosis, meaning within 12 months, you're going to be good. All these YouTube videos that you'll see about people saying you need this and people saying you need that does not apply to anyone doing a BDD claim whatsoever. All you need to do is make sure you have the evidence and submit what's currently bothering you and what you have evidence for. And so right now you have current diagnosis. You're good to go, dude. BDD claims are easy. Every active duty person should be doing BDD claims. Highlight Goat says, should I claim things like GERD before when I file my BDD claim? Even though I didn't go to the doc. The answer is yes. If you have a current problem, and let's say you weren't proactive at getting your medical evidence while you were active, which you could probably tell a lot of service members have that issue. As long as you have the current symptoms and on your exit exam, that's going to be the last chance you get to actually document those symptoms. Absolutely claim anything you can. Now, I wouldn't claim GERD specifically. If you have like heartburn or another symptom, that's really what I would claim. The VA will figure that out. But again, BDD claims are a little bit different than everyone else. So I would not pay attention to any of those. Johnny Ray, we got a diehard for-profit claims consulting company fan. Hey, that's fine, dude. Okay. The thing is, Veterans Guardian didn't do anything, and the only reason your service is connected is because the VA did it, right? And so every claim needs these three things: the in-service event, the current diagnosis, and the Nexus. Could you have gone by yourself or to a solid VSO to gather the evidence of the in-service event, the current diagnosis, to build that Nexus? Absolutely. And you would have saved yourself a few $1,000s. But hey, no shame to you personally. For profit, I mean, the claims consulting companies are a symptom of a much bigger problem. And I'd appreciate no shade my way, right? But if you throw it, I'm going to give it right back just to let you know. Bobby D's, what's up? I just read your email. I'm tracking that you filed 6 out of the 9 claims. Tracking that. Melissa Cortez, I sprained. Come on, big dog. I sprained ankle during weapons qual in 09. Improperly treated by the physician assistant. Went through 11 months of PT and med. In 2012, 10% service for calf, but not limited range of motion for ankle. Does this seem right? Ankle conditions are generally going to be 0 or 10%. Can you get more? Yes, you absolutely can. It's going to be off of which is rated more. And so if I had to take a wild guess, Melissa, your range of motion was tested, at least visually. But the 10 say the whatever you put in the T right there, that's probably weighed more, meaning you have 10%. Now, if your range of motion has decreased on your ankle, you can absolutely submit a increase, and that would be pretty easy. It's bugs. I recently attempted suicide. I hate to hear that. Okay, you're definitely typing, so I like to see it. Grateful I'm alive today, baby girl. Give daddy a second. Grateful I'm alive, and she's over there watching Coco Melon. She just likes to be loud. She's fine. Grateful I'm alive and seeking out help now. That's good to hear. And was diagnosed with severe depression disorders, insomnia. Am I getting kicked out, or will I be getting VA disability? So it's bugs. I assume you're active duty. Okay. And as far as you getting kicked out, I wouldn't really say that. It sounds like a very clear med board. Now, I don't know what other stuff is going on, but I do know that if you can't function as a result of your mental health, you absolutely could go down that route, given it was warranted. That's assuming you're active duty. All right, Brock Loy, right here. We got the UK, Brock. Appreciate that. Tough game against Georgia the other day. Let's see if I see any comment. I don't see. Yeah, I do. Okay. Now, oh, that's probably a second. All right, I got you, Brock. Just got notified about VA Live Q&A. Wish I could say. No big deal. Parent on duty. I know I've asked before, but I'm asking again. Been diagnosed with mixed IBS and have been deployed to Iraq. Should I file a claim now or get a DBQ from private doctor? So this is my opinion. You can do whatever you want. My opinion is I wouldn't get a DBQ for IBS at all, especially because you have Iraq. That's going to be presumptive. What I want you to do, Brock, I have a 40-second video talking about how the VA rates IBS. I'm actually going to put that in the chat for you. But to summarize, it's your symptoms are going to be constipation, diarrhea, and abdominal cramps, okay? And there's a relationship between constipation and diarrhea, and you get so backed up, that's the constipation part. And when the floodgates are let loose, that's the diarrhea part, pretty gross. And through that process, you're going to get some very serious abdominal cramps. And if you've ever had those, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, because they absolutely suck. But let me post this for you because you're about to leave. I appreciate the donation, brother. That's how the VA rates IBS. Thank you so much, Brock. Appreciate that. All right. I think I covered everything, Brock. Yep, Brock's good. Okay. Your camera's blurry. Johnny Ray, I think might be your internet connection because I look pretty dang good, brother. I'm looking at it. All right. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do either. I got to figure out where I was. We were on right here. Should I claim things like GERD even though I never... Okay, highlight goat. We got that. Lima Charlie, thank you very much. Audio's good and clear. Thank you. Yeah, you can hear me. All right, JD admin. Is there a CFR mandating that VA should rate when sufficient actionable evidence is presented? Found references for when they should develop, but nothing saying when they shouldn't. I'm assuming you mean like a fully developed claim or the expedited claim, whatever it's called. Theoretically speaking, JD, should the VA be able to finalize a fully developed claim without being sent to a CMP exam? I think that's really what your question is getting to. And the answer is yes. I've seen it happen many, many a times. Okay. Now, does it always happen? That answer is a little no. All right. Finally, after 6 long months, I'm finally meeting with Dr. Sharma once again to discuss several secondary conditions. Secret sauce, that's awesome. That is a long wait. Okay. I'm potentially looking for other mental health psychiatrists to step in. The only issue there is of the ones I have spoken to, 2 of them charge over $2,000 for IMOs and DBQs, and I'm just not going to. I would lose sleep if I recommended anyone to those people. So that's not happening. So I'm still on the lookout. If you know anyone, let me know. Henry Reneska, I provided a Nexus letter and DBQ since February of this year for sleep apnea. I'm still waiting on a decision. The Nexus letter was well written. I'd love to take a look at it, okay? And I want to know what it was secondary to. The number one factor I look for in a IMO Nexus letter for sleep apnea is if the provider ruled out obesity. That is just as important as every other aspect to an IMO. But in the sleep apnea case, it's very, very important to rule out obesity or use obesity as an intermediate step. Because if that doesn't happen and you are obese, meaning over the BMI rate, percentage, whatever that is, the VA is going to use it against you. And I've seen it over 100 times. Toby runs a lot with the $20 donation and Campbell with the $20 donation. Fellas, thank you so much. Let me scroll down to see if I can get your questions here. Here's Toby runs a lot. Clayton recently awarded 30% for IBS and 10% for tinnitus. Hey, solid. Okay. 30% for IBS is the max rating for IBS and 10% for tinnitus. Those are 2 solid claims. And we know tinnitus is that anchor claim, so to speak. So definitely. During my CMP exam, General Med Gall 4. Yep, we briefly discussed rhinitis, bronchitis. This letter says they say you might. Absolutely. Absolutely. I already know what the rest of that's going to say. And the answer is yes, you're going to want to submit those claims. Next week, hope I can get a copy of the DBQ CMP. Did the CMP possibly diagnose me? Absolutely, they could. And if your decision letter said that, to sum it up, Toby, you need to submit the claim. Submit the actual claim. Oh, my camera is blurry. I don't know, man. I'm on YouTube right now, and it looks pretty clear. Let me look at my phone. I'll see if it's blurry or not. Not that I'm calling you a liar. I'm just saying, you know. I don't know. It's not blurry on my phones. Hope not. Okay. Any ideas how to move forward with rhinitis and bronchitis? Yeah, so assuming you are PACT Act related, Toby, submit those claims. I am looking for Campbell. Sorry. Let me find Campbell. Campbell, I'm looking for your name. Do not worry. Picture that's cleared up. Thank you. Okay. It's probably the interwebs. Campbell, I appreciate that $20 donation. I just want to make sure that I answer your question if you have one. Here we go. Could you theoretically still get further claims ratings even if you're already at 100% if it's a service-connected condition? You can get SMCs. I mean, theoretically speaking, can you get service-connected for more disabilities after 100%? The answer is yes. Okay. There's two reasons you do that. One is SMC, right? Especially if you hit the 100%, then 60% mark. That for sure. Or like erectile dysfunction. That's a pretty common one. Or my wife texted me. Okay. Or you want to get service connected for something that you're potentially going to die of, like a cancer, right? Hypertension would be a solid one. Hypertension affects your kidneys, your livers, your heart, tons of other things. But those are really, theoretically speaking, the only reasons why I would even go for that. Donovan with a $5 donation. Thank you very much. He says, finally submitted claim after a year of collecting medical evidence. Now it's on the CMP exams. Thanks for all you do. Hey, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I definitely appreciate it. Best of luck. As long as you submitted an evidence-based claim, you're in good hands. All right, let's go back up. Let's make our way back up to CH. Here we go. CivDiv, it's important for the current generation to have good medical record keeping with the Lumen World War III. I can't talk on that, man. I will say this is pretty crazy what's going on right now. But I would say it's important for any service member, in lieu of war or not, to upkeep some type of medical evidence. Not saying be a malingerer or don't be good at your job, but absolutely upkeep your medical evidence. VA changed my claim from lower back pain to mid-scoliosis as an aggravated claim. Waiting for VES to schedule another CMP exam. Low back claim that received at least as likely. After lower back pain exam received at least as likely. Oh, okay, so you had a lower back claim that was basically denied, and now they changed the scoliosis for an aggravation claim. That's not bad news. I mean, that's not the greatest news. It's not bad either. I would say it's a glass half full type of thing. So there's definitely hope there, especially because now you're arguing an aggravation of. There's probably some x-rays that are a part of that we can't see as of right now. Do I claim radiculopathy separately? Do I need a diagnosis? BDD. Highlight. For BDD claims, anything that you are dealing with at all, whether you have evidence for it or not, you need to submit the claim. Now, ideally, let's say you're a year out. Ideally, you have time to get that evidence. But let's just assume you don't. And regardless, submit the claim. Now, your exit exam is going to be the last chance you get to get anything on record. And you can easily, annotate that your legs fall asleep, they tingle, whatever the symptoms that you have are. And I'm assuming you claim some type of lower back claim. And radiculopathy is a part of that lower back DBQ, right? So it's on there. That doesn't necessarily mean that the VA will automatically account for radiculopathy, okay? But claiming it definitely acts as a forcing function. All right. If you can hear that song, let me know. Bobby D's, hopefully I'll be getting more evidence for my claim in November. But that's after I submit it. Should I change my claim from FTC to a normal claim? No, that stuff happens in the background anyways. Don't worry about that. I would absolutely submit your evidence the second you get it. And ideally, we would use up the entire intent to file year to gather all the evidence, but that's not a big sweat either. Just make sure you upload that evidence when you can. All right, let's roll back. What does that abbreviation stand for? I don't even know what you're talking about, but please let me know, Kim, which abbreviation you're referring to. Oh, I think BDD. It's benefits delivery at discharge. In layman's terms, it's the VA's and DOD's coordination when you're 180 to 90 days out to submit claims in that window. And when I say 180 to 90 days out, that's from your EAS or ETS date. And then ideally, you get your rating and start receiving benefits right after you leave the service, theoretically at least. Can I connect sleep apnea, secondary to rhinitis, or sinusitis, JWB? I don't know what JWB is. That answer is yes, right? But again, sleep apnea secondary, there's a few factors you need to consider. It's correlating factors and obesity, right? So just to be very straight with everyone, if you are fat and you're overweight and you get a medical opinion for sleep apnea, secondary to whatever, and that opinion does not address your obesity, it will be denied. Okay, I've seen it hundreds of times. So it's all about correlating factors when it comes to sleep apnea. Don't forget that. All right, we are here with Robert P. I have my congressman's office chasing my claim. Okay, it sucks that it took that, but at least you're working on it. They said it's been assigned to a team for a rating. How long do you think rating takes once assigned? Robert, and anyone else watching this, there's not a single person in the world that can ever give you an accurate answer when it comes to timelines and claims. I don't care what stage it's in. I don't care what evidence you submit. There's not a single person in this world that can answer that question. All right. I'm going to give you an answer. You're going to hate it, but I'm going to answer it with soon. Now, is it 9 months soon or is it next week soon? It's soon. Good luck, Henry. They mix. Yep, absolutely. All right. Henry Renesca believed that the evidence provided secondary to anxiety was sufficient. Have not been contacted for CMP exam. Fingers crossed. Absolutely. In a perfect world, I'd like to see a diagnosis of anxiety. And then I'd like to see medical evidence, basically with your primary care, building that secondary service connection, whatever it is, right? All right, HPT Boy 41. Should I challenge my MS effective date since they mentioned it in my previous claim? All right, I think you're talking about multiple sclerosis. I think. When we're looking at effective dates, I'm absolutely going to have to look at the decision letter at a minimum. Okay, so if you want to send that to me, please do. Now, if you've emailed me before, you know my email is insane, and I get to them when I get to them. Okay, but yes, absolutely, send me the email. I can take a better look. There's no way I can answer that here on live without seeing the decision letter, at least a decision letter. Thank you for the donation. Definitely appreciate that. Let's roll back up to where we were, which is right here. Mr. JC, I need more hot wing videos. Thank you. I'm working on it, right? I have a few guests lined up. David Piatek, which is the VA home loan dude on the channel with VA housing education. He'll be on. And then I'm trying to get the Silkies coordinator for Baltimore, IW Baltimore, to do the hot wings thing. The sauces are behind me right there. And I'll tell you this, it was hot. Okay. If you watched the podcast there, I was freaking out for a second, but it was good. Kim says I'm 90% unemployable. Okay, I wouldn't really say unemployable. I would just say 90% service connected for PTSD, MST, and sleep apnea. But since then, I have had my diagnosis changed to narcolepsy, not sleep apnea. Would it put my current rating at risk if it were to be corrected? No, you're fine. You're fine. I would look at other secondaries. I would want to know how long you've been in, how long you've had PTSD for, and sleep apnea, and look at other secondaries like hypertension. Maybe I'd look at GERD, IBS. Those are pretty common. Start looking at migraines. That can be pretty common, especially if you've had a 70% PTSD symptoms for a while. That can definitely develop, pretty likely to develop, actually. Gene Santos says, supplemental claim. I have new evidence. My wife keeps texting me. Okay. Supplemental claim. I have new evidence ready for the 2 conditions, but the other 2 conditions will take more time. Can I send those new evidence now and later send another supplemental? I have new evidence ready for the 2 conditions, but the other 2. So you're doing 4 supplemental claims. You're ready for 2, but not the other 2. You can if you want, Gene. With supplementals, especially, I'm assuming it's within that 1 year, you're still retaining that effective date. Now, if you're after that year for to maintain retroactive pay, I would just do intent to file and just wait. That would be me. It depends where you're at on that. So if you're within that 1 year time frame, sure, if you want. If not, you can still do it if you want to, but I'd recommend you wait. Highlight Goat. Should I submit personal statement with my BDD claim? Highlight, it depends what we're talking about, okay? There are certain claims that I always recommend them, like migraines, for instance, is one. There are certain claims that it's completely unnecessary, right? Like sinusitis, I would say is unnecessary for a personal statement because it's very, very clear. Your evidence is very clear as to what rating you will receive for sinusitis. It just depends. Highlight Goat. If you let me know exactly what you're talking about, I could probably help you out more. F0 Buff Nipple. My guy's back at it again. What's up? BDD, active duty. Is it okay if the diagnosis is within the medical report? However, not on the diagnosis list. That's fine. Absolutely. So you have a complaint and a diagnosis in your service treatment records. That's fine. You are going to need a current diagnosis, and the CMP examiner can do that for you. But yes, absolutely. Thanks, Clay. I hope you have a great evening and your family. Prayers to the world. Absolutely. I agree with that. And my wife is gone. It's just me and the kiddos. So we're chilling. Scott, have a good one, Clay. I'm off yet for another CMP exam in the Philippines with VES. Good luck to you, Scott. Appreciate that. Ray McCarthy. I'm hearing a lot of veterans being denied for tinnitus. Even though they have a diagnosis, the common denominator seems to be no personal statement and no nexus. Personal statements don't mean baloney, to be honest with you, when it comes to tinnitus. The nexus absolutely does. Okay. I would actually say the opposite, Ray. And I help a lot of veterans, and a lot of veterans reach out to me that watch videos, submitted their claims, and then receive their rating. And I would actually say the opposite, hardcore, actually. So for tinnitus, you're looking at your MOS is going to be the main one, and then also environments that you are deployed to. I guess you could write a personal statement if you fall into the environment category, so to speak, but pretty easy claim there. Angela, the $50 super sticker. I appreciate that, Angela. Now I emailed you just before this. Let me just check real quick. Yep, I see that you got it. All right, awesome. Thank you very much, Angela. I appreciate that. And we will cross that bridge come next week. All right, Stephen M. Clay, I completed all my CMP exams. First time claim, packed that over 30 days ago. My claim has been in over 270 timeline. No one can answer that, brother. No one can answer that. But you completed all your CMP exams over a month ago. The answer is soon. Okay. Soon, I would say within the month. But no one can answer timeline questions ever. All right, Lynn, Marine Corps, service treatment record with MH symptoms, VA diagnosed with phobia, attended behavioral health in 16-17. Just filed a claim yesterday. Wish I checked my VA record sooner. Think my changes are good. I do. So you have an in-service event with symptoms, right? Probably not. If I had to take a wild guess, probably not the strongest in-service events, but you have something, so that's good. You have continuous treatment, so to speak. There's a 10-year time gap there. So as long as you have a current diagnosis, which I'm assuming you either have or you could get with your symptoms, that would lead an CMP examiner to make the Nexus. All right. We answered that, Campbell. Thank you very much for your donation. Appreciate that. And Toby, we answered that one. Thank you for your donation. We appreciate that one. Keith, what's up? How's it going? All right, here we go. Randall, Tyler Brooks. All right, Henry, we'll get to that in a second. Randall says, been watching your videos, really helpful, and currently doing my mental health. Thank you. Good for you. Hearing tinnitus, currently done mental health, hearing tinnitus, and have an at-home sleep study. I have a few more exams all in a day, like knees, elbow, foot. Any tips? Yeah. So looking at your musculoskeletal conditions, so your knees are going to be based off of range of motion, right? So flexion, extension, and then they'll do weighted right here. So you're weighted. Let's say my wrist is your knee. They'll do how much it can move, and then they'll be weighted how much you can move it while it's being weighted. The hand, same thing, or the wrist at least. So I have a huge scar right here. You probably can't see it on camera, but that's also based on range of motion. The elbow, it does depend. The foot, that also depends. I'm assuming you have like plantar fasciitis or flat feet, pes planus. Your hips will be range of motion, and IBS is going to be 10, 0, 10, or 30, looking at constipation, diarrhea, and abdominal cramps. That's how the VA rates those. Kim, we'll come back to you. Let me get, we got a few more. Excuse me. Henry Renesca, how's it going? Let's scroll down to Henry. Henry, let me know if you have a question. Here we go. Have service connected for anxiety at 50%, not obese at 5'9", 175 to 180 BMI at 25. Yeah, you're not obese. I assume you're trying to go for sleep apnea secondary to anxiety. If that's the case, you're not obese. That doesn't automatically mean you'll get service connection, right? It just means that weight gain and obesity won't be a factor that they have to roll out. All right. Thank you for the donation, Henry. I definitely appreciate it. Campbell, I originally didn't claim tinnitus. How hard is a former 0811? So that's that's an ARTI, right? You're on the gun line. Cannoneer, I think it's called. Would it be to add that to my claim? Any change of back pay? No, back pay is not happening, but you can absolutely add that to your claim if you want to. I think it's an extremely easy win for you. I was an 0341. Get this giant douchebag 41 there. Absolutely go for it. Not a big issue at all. Eli Riddle with a $20 donation. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. He asked, why do VSOs suck so bad? Yeah. Some are really good. Okay. I've met some VSOs that are absolutely solid. but the majority of them are baloney. I can tell you why, but that might be a bit of a long story. Went to the VA to get a copy of CMP exam, and no VSO would agree to sign a power of attorney to help get me a copy. This is the only reason I need a VSL. Yeah, it sucks, dude. I will say this. I will say this, Eli. When it comes to getting CMP exam results from like a FOIA, going to your regional office is hands down going to be your best option. You can submit a FOIA request through your regional office, and it'll come back in about, I want to say, like within the week, right? I've heard as soon as 2 days, at least for CMP exam results like that. But yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. All right, let's roll back up to the top here. Kim, I've been diagnosed as autoimmune that can't figure out. I was at a TSBI assignment with a stealth fighter when it did not exist. So anything they did to us, there's no record of, to include the shots. I'm not sure what the question is here or what disability we're talking about, but you will need a current diagnosis. So that would be a good place to start at. Raymond Arias says, I recently filed a claim for sleep apnea, secondary to PTSD and sinusitis. I submitted the records, but I didn't submit the records from when I received the CPAP machine. Ramon, let me make sure you don't have another question. You can easily submit your records of a CPAP. I'm assuming you're talking private healthcare. If this is VA, don't worry about it. They're going to have that. I would be more concerned on the service connection secondary aspect versus anything else. But if it is private and you were given a CPAP, I would absolutely check that out. I might grab my daughter and bring her on stream just for a little bit. Be a short stream tonight. She's like mid sleep right now. Part of me is afraid to try for migraines. I know in my heart I fit the 50% rating, but I am so afraid of fraud because I haven't missed enough work. Don't sweat that, okay? Don't sweat that at all. Secret sauce. What I would do is look at your supervisors and try to get them to write a statement, talk about your sick days and talk about how your migraines affect your work. If you have to take off for your migraines, and let it be. The evidence will speak for itself. Okay. Now, just because you mentioned fraud, if you haven't used sick days for migraines, and if your migraines aren't that bad to where they affect your work, just don't sweat it. You know, go for that 30%. But if you do, then that's what you rate. I wouldn't sweat the fraud at all. The evidence will speak for itself. Marvin Jenkins, hello. Do you know if you can claim separately GERD and dysphagia, swallow issues, or are they considered same? Same. So swallowing, heartburn, all those GERD-like symptoms are going to be roped into GERD. Now, sometimes it's called different things, okay? But it'll all be roped in together. Bright Eyes says, thanks, Clayton. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kim says the shots were for anthrax. We got them 2 years before they claimed they never gave us them in 4 years. Kim, what is your diagnosis for that? Yeah, I knew my camera was clear. These people are wild. All right. Fatima says, how current does a diagnosis have to be? Within 1 year is the current diagnosis, right? With a diagnosis and blue button report. If from the VA, yes, it'd be in your blue button report. Can I use private medical doctor who gave me full body scan? Absolutely. Yes. 100%, without a question. Trump Drago says, I got diagnosed with adjustment disorder while in. I had symptoms for 100%, but they denied me because I went to rehab. Denied. We can't tell if symptoms are from drug use or adjustment disorder. I'm wondering what kind of discharge you have, Trump. just based off of this one comment, I want to know what type of discharge you have. But because that's what it leads me to believe, and I'm really speculating here. So please clear that up for me. I definitely don't want to step or overspeak on your situation at all. But that's my first thought I get whenever I read that is what type of discharge do you have? And if you were forced out, what did that look like? Tammy D with the $3 super sticker. I appreciate that, Tammy. I'll scroll down here in a second. Of course, my wife just keeps texting me. Okay. Okay, let's scroll down to Tammy D. Tammy, if you have a question, you let me know, Tammy. I'm here. I'm here for it. Yep, Joseph B. I see that. That's right. I wasn't FTC, but all right. Tammy, I don't see anything. If you do add something, please throw it down. Let me know. I'll be there for it. All right. Toxic Ghost says my VA claim for GERD has been deferred. I had a diagnosis while in service, and I had VA, 22, 23. Gas providers give the diagnosis for GERD. What can I do? Yeah, deferred doesn't mean anything at all. It's not good. It's not bad. So basically, when it gets to the rater, there's a time allocation that they have to make a decision, right? And so if you were given, they made some decisions on your other claims, these they couldn't for whatever reason, so they deferred it. And it just needs more time to be looked at. That's all that means. It's not good. It's not bad. It just means the VA needs more time. What can you do about it? Nothing. Just wait. Relax. Take a breath. Yep. Highlight go. I got you. Brother. Rewind back to the beginning. I answered a lot of your BDD questions there. Can I withdraw a claim to speed up another claim? Nope. Doesn't work like that at all. And so there's a rumor, so to speak, that if you only submit 5 claims, it'll be faster than submitting 10 claims. Not true at all. Okay. Each claim is independent of itself. It has nothing to do with any of your other claims. And whoever keeps saying that, and I know who brought it up first, I'm telling you that they're idiots. And it's not true at all. At all. At all. All right. I just got that. The answer to your question is no. Right. It has no bearing on the speed of your claim. 0. I just got diagnosed with sleep apnea and waiting to get my CPAP. Okay. I have sinusitis and rhinitis and PTSD. What should I make sleep apnea secondary to when I should file the claim? It's pretty clear. If you have a 30% sinusitis rating, at least, I'd probably go that route. But the VA is going to look at all 3 of those within themselves. And it's not really a big deal. Just submit it secondary. The VA will look at what's going on. You obviously have 3 strong correlating factors. I would like to know your other correlating factors. I'd also like to know if you're overweight, right? And the VA is going to have to rule out your weight gain from your claim. All right, Randall, any tips going into exams like esophagus, hip, knee? I got you, Randall. We answered that earlier. I just submitted an increase for PTSD with a private doctor, DBQ, and no CMP exam yet. But I do have one for another condition that I'm claiming. Is that a good sign? You submitted an increase with the DBQ. Okay, that is a good sign. I'm hoping that DBQ was from a psychiatrist. That would be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Seems like a good sign. Extremely important. Okay. Tons and tons and tons and tons of migraine claims come back at 0%. And their veteran has no hard evidence of prostrating migraines and how often they occur. And so now that claim is being relied upon the CMP examiner. So if you don't want your symptoms to be controlled by the CMP examiner, you need to have your evidence, and not just a migraine log, but you need to share that migraine log with your primary care. I just made a migraine video looking at 0 to 50%. Definitely check that out. Nice shirt. I just moved to Ko-Olina last year. I can see Disney. Oh, yeah. That's a nice place. I went there. I was in Hawaii for a work trip. Then we took a day and went to Alani. It was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm not paying out of pocket to go to Disney. We don't live like that. It was a work trip. John and Crystal says combat-related social conversation. What job titles fall under this program? No job titles at all. It's injuries, right? So like airborne is probably the most common. And then obviously being injured in the line of duty in a very extreme scenario would be anything that results in a Purple Heart, for example, right? But yes, it's not job title specifically. It's injury-based. Now, it's difficult. It's definitely not easy. The evidence is very strict, and you actually do that through your service, not really the VA. It's a little bit weird. Why would some Nexus writers prefer to let you get denied for lack of the same Nexus so that they can write a Nexus letter? Yeah, I think you're referring to Quality Health, which does get under my skin a little bit. The thought process behind that is, generally speaking, most veterans don't need a Nexus, generally. And if you're denied, on the decision letter, it'll say you have the in-service event. It'll say you have the current diagnosis. However, the CMP examiner opined, blah, 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 less likely is not, right? I'm sure we've all seen those denial letters. And so with that denial letter, the Nexus letter provider would be able to go the route to combat that opinion, basically. Kim says, I'm paid at 100, rated at 90. Okay, so your TDIU, they said I can't work or I lose my rating. That's why I said, yeah, got it, Dragon. You can work. You just have to make less than, I think it's like 13.5. Don't quote me on that. Look up what the cap is, and you can work less than that. Now, I don't know if that's worth it to you, but you can work. Efforts in the house, sure, somewhere. Got you, Henry. Appreciate that. Robert P. says, got a remand for my wrist, waiting for CMP and want to study for it. Can you get both range of motion and carpal tunnel? You can absolutely get both. You can get 3 ratings for the wrist, actually. Range of motion. So my left wrist, I'm rated for my left wrist here. There's a huge scar. Oh, you can't really see it. There's a huge scar right there. I'm rated range of motion. I also have carpal tunnel. There's another scar right here. I'm rated for my scar and my cubital nerve. So cubital, carpal tunnel, range of motion, and scarring is what I'm rated for. That's 4 ratings for the wrist. You absolutely can. Angel says, you rock. Thank you very much. You rock. Appreciate that. Let's look at Beto. Brother, do you think buddy statements and personal statements can help get a higher rating in case the DBQ was not favorable? No. No, I don't. So regardless of what YouTube tells you, I'm telling you, statements almost mean diddly squat. Okay? Statements are used to support medical evidence. It's not the other way around. The only time a statement can act in lieu of, so to speak, is for like an event. Okay? And I know people would disagree with me on that, but I'm telling you, it's just how it is. Statements support medical evidence. Now, for you, Beto, since you're doing a BDD claim, all this YouTube stuff that you're hearing me say and hearing other YouTubers say does not apply to you. You're on a BDD claim. It's the easiest claim to do. All you need to do is make sure that you have some type of evidence, depending on what time frame you have. Get the evidence you need. Make a list of everything you want to claim. Submit that. And on your exit exam, that's your very last chance you have to get evidence during that exit exam, right? The exit physical, whatever you want to call it. Don't worry about what all this YouTube stuff says for you. You're in a particular situation. BDD claims are the way to go. That's my BDD spiel. Okay. Brain, I love that name. Says, I'm getting a depression mental health exam secondary to my condition that's already service connected. And I had a personal psychiatrist write me up. And it's all turned in how I'm looking 50, 70, already 30. I'm going to have to read that one again. Hold on. Let me scroll down. I'm getting depression mental exam secondary to my condition. Okay, so you have depression mental health exam secondary to something. It's all turned in how I'm looking 50, 70, already 30. Rain, I don't know what you're asking me, to be honest with you. Please put something down at the bottom. I definitely want to answer this. I think you're already 30%. I think what you're saying is you're already 30%. You have a personal psychiatrist write you up for depression secondary to something at 50%. Off of this, as I would say, it looks good. I definitely need some more information so I can at least give you a solid answer there. I appreciate the donation. I'm going to check down, Rain, in about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. So if it's down there, let me know. Let me scroll up to see if you said anything else. All right. Kim says, I have nerve issues and depth of nerves the doctors can't figure out. I think it's from those secret unrecorded test nerve shots. I can't get any doctors to listen to me. I would be curious as to what is the evidence of those shots. I assume you mean anthrax to nerve damage. I can't think of any cases that fell into that. Okay. Really, when you look at nerve damage and VA disability, it's generally caused by like a lumbar strain, maybe cervical strain, some shoulder strains, elbow conditions, things like that. Teddy Woodson, my claim is in stage 3, evidence gathering, no CMP exam scheduled yet, but I have new paperwork for primary care doctor. Should I submit or hold it? Submit, absolutely. Submit. Submit, submit, submit. Seymour says, which video had the list for once you reach 100%? Want to make sure I go through everything. Absolutely, Seymour. I'll paste that in the bottom of the chat here. I know what the thumbnail looks like. Let me just find it. Here it is. Here's this. I'll put it down here. 100% big boss. Boom. Muffin Man. All right, Shepherd Vet. Do you need to MRI for vertigo, or is diagnosed good for Nexus letter? See you on 10/20. I'll see you on 10/20. You don't need an MRI for vertigo at all. A diagnosis from an audiologist would be pretty strong. Okay. And if you're looking at a Nexus letter for vertigo, I would highly recommend getting an audiologist. 100% without a doubt. Oh, 341. That's right. I was in 39 and 29. 39 was with 81s. And then 29 I was in 60s. And I got a big, stupid 341 on me. I'm that guy. Okay. Lynn says, thanks, Clay. I have 36 behavioral health appointments. That's a lot. My VA records for therapy sessions, symptoms were noted. Hope it helps my folks. Yeah, it definitely helps. That's for certain. I think you have a very strong claim. You had the in-service event. You have some type of chronicity of care, treatment. I think you have a very, very strong claim. Is it possible to go depression to obesity and get rated for GERD? It absolutely is. Absolutely. Okay. You want to go depression secondary to obesity. If that's the case, your obesity is going to need to be recognized by the VA as stemming from service, right? So not impossible, but you definitely need to have your ducks lined up in a row. I need to do a video on obesity. Is what I need to do, because that's a very, very common misunderstanding that veterans have, especially when it comes to sleep apnea and obesity. All right. B Auto says, I just got rated for 50% PTSD. My doc said I should have had at least 70. Should I submit for an increase now with a Nexus from my doc or what? So you don't need a Nexus. I hope you didn't pay for that at all. You're already service connected. That's what the Nexus does. If you want to get a DBQ, you could. I wouldn't recommend it. If you were just rated for PTSD, it would actually be a supplemental. So either a higher level review if you're using the same evidence, or supplemental if you're submitting new evidence because you're appealing the decision, which is 50%. You're already service connected. I wouldn't sweat that at all. But if you truly believe you have the symptoms for 70, I would appeal that decision for sure. Is schizophrenic? Yes. Yes, you can absolutely get a rating for being schizophrenic under general rating for mental health. That actually might have its own more severe. Let's see. Let's see. Definitely mental health. I wonder if it has its own diagnostic code. I don't think it does, but it's not something I've seen. 9411. Let's go look at 9411. 9411, 38 CFR, ECFR. Let me pull this up and I will show you what I'm looking at. Is it 9411? Yeah, okay. I should have shared my screen with you. Shame. I'll show you what I'm doing. Teach y'all how to fish a little bit. Oh, should have said. 9201, schizophrenia. You can read all this. You read all these notes, okay? It basically says all of these are rated here under the generating formula for that. And you'll see schizophrenia is 9201. And bada bing, bada boom, that's how it's rated. You can look at any mental health video I have on here, and you'll see 38 CFR for that. All right. We got a few donos. Oh, we got some smackaroos up here. Gregory Proctor, thank you very much. I appreciate that, especially after our one-on-one. Hey, sir, if I have scoliosis noted in my MTF post-in-service accident, tracking on that, should I file for scoliosis at a lower back pain with a secondary associated? No, I would keep it broad, okay? So anytime we're submitting claims, keep it broad. Lower back pain, mental health, neck pain, knee pain, keep it broad. The VA is going to do what the VA is going to do, right? I would absolutely keep it broad always. Even if you have a diagnosis for scoliosis, I would still say lower back pain, and I would also throw in neck pain in there as well, okay? Keep it broad. That's the way to go. That's my opinion, at least. Rain, thank you. I rewrote what I was trying to say. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let me go look at what you said, Rain, and I got you. Okay. You have an exam coming up soon for depression, mental health, CMP. Had psychiatrist sat down, talk to me, and write paragraph for me. How do you think I'm looking? Exam be approved. Based off of what you said, it seems like it's going to be solid. Now, you did say that depression mental health exam or depression claim was secondary. I would like to know what it's secondary to specifically. But yeah, you have a psychiatrist. I assume through private or VA healthcare that agreed that your depression stemmed from service or service-connected disability. That's a good sign. So with these comments, I think you have a very, very solid claim. At least that's what it seems like without me looking at the evidence myself. So short answer, yes. I think you do have a solid claim. Teddy, what time is it? All right, probably like 7:15, 7:30. I probably dip out a little bit. Teddy says, I was never able to use VA healthcare. They say I make too much. Anyone else get this? You can absolutely use VA healthcare. Now there are some stipulations, right? But if you're a veteran, you have service-connected disability, you can use VA healthcare. That's pretty much it. Florida Marine says, Clay, what are the most common ratings for GERD? That's going to be 0 and 30%. Or I'm sorry, 0, 10, and 30 are the most common. I can tell you what's not common, which is 60%. I only know of one person that has 60% for GERD. But yeah, 10 and 30 is the most common. I guess you can throw in 0% in there as well. Yeah, I would want to know where, Ken, I would want to know where your neuropathy, your nerve damage comes from. Do you have diabetes at all? That's my first question. What are your other service-connected disabilities? Do you have any kind of cervical or lumbar strains at all? Do you have any back conditions? What about shoulder conditions? What does that look like to you? I'm assuming we're talking about the arms. John and Crystal, would a deployed ICU nurse fall under when being med boarded? No. It doesn't go off of job titles, John and Crystal. Is there any way to get both the DoD pension and VA without offset without the CRSC? Yeah, you can get okay. If you retire, if you're med boarded with more, I believe, don't quote me here, look this up. I think it's more than 15 years, or a 70% DoD rating. Don't quote me on that again. You can absolutely receive both without an issue, right? Now, if you do retire, you can get that and VA. Now, to answer your question, looking at job titles has nothing to do with CRSC, does it? It's the injury itself, okay? I don't care what job you had. When it comes to CRSC, it's only the disability itself, right? And the evidence is very clear, and it needs to be, when we're dealing with CRSC, which is not common, it's got to be, one of my friends had just did the process. And basically the goal was to make it as unambiguous as possible, meaning take out all the uncertainty, submit really, really solid evidence. And the golden ticket is going to be evidence from service due to the incident, right? So let's say you're airborne, you fall down from the sky, you hit a truck, you break your leg, boom, right then and there. I want that x-ray that shows the disability. That would qualify for CRSC as an example. Brad Fisher with a $10 super sticker. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. Brad, let me know if you have any questions down here. I'm going to go grab my daughter, and then we'll probably end the stream in about 15, 20-ish minutes. Let me go see. Be right back. Brad, if you have a question, you throw it down below. What are you doing? What are you doing? Want to come say hi? Okay. Come say hi. All right, we'll answer a few more questions, and then we'll dip out of here. Brad, all right, let me know. I'm here for you. Scrolling back up to Steven. When submitting BDD claim, do you upload your entire SDR or pull out just the components of the records that pertain to your claims? So for BDD claims, I would submit everything, right? Now, if you want to highlight things you're claiming, that's absolutely fine. But for BDDs, you want to get it all in there, okay? And that's more for follow-on claims if you go down that route. But for BDD specifically, yes, submit it all. Make sure you get your exit exam. Be on the lookout on Delkay Graham's channel. I'm making a PowerPoint because I teach the Transition Assistance Program Plus, or TAP Plus at Belvoir. I'm making a PowerPoint that's more like a leave behind. It's going to act as a template that you can use. So definitely check Delkay Graham's video. I'll be posting it there. Then every time I give the TAP class at Belvoir, I'll be linking that video as well. So, right. Tammy D, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tony says, I made a claim for anxiety disorder and got denied. I put in for HLR. What can I expect from this? Yeah, so the higher level review, a senior rater is going to review that claim, see if any mistakes were made. And if so, they will correct it. And depending on what that mistake was, you'll be given another exam, maybe to do another records review, whatever that case looks like. So be on the lookout. It's going to be a while, probably. Gary says, sorry, I was unclear earlier. I'm submitting supplemental claim for my 4 denied conditions. My evidence. Yep, I got you, Gene. So it depends on, so you said 2 and 2. If your supplemental claims are within that 1-year time frame, it really doesn't matter. If they're after that 1-year time frame, I would recommend you wait, submit the intent to file until you have all 4 appeals ready to go. Right, so it's 2 different scenarios there, depending on which one you fall into. Abraham says, I submitted a Nexus letter, a DBQ, and medical evidence of my diagnosis on a Golf 4 Presumptive, and the VA scheduled me for a CMP exam. I'm fearful they're going to screw me over. Probably not. Okay. This whole, I get it that the VA sucks, and that fear is there. But listen, it's a process. You either work with it or you try and swim upstream, and swimming upstream is not going to work. You don't need a Nexus letter for presumptive, 1, so that's useless, literally. You don't need a DBQ, but that's not bad. You have medical evidence of my diagnosis. That's good, right? And so basically the VA is going to look at the severity of that condition, assuming you do fall into PACT Act presumptives, and that diagnosis is an actual diagnosis, or you have symptoms that could lead to a diagnosis, you're fine. Nothing to worry about at all. I wouldn't let YouTube sway you from that claim. I submitted a Nexus letter, DBQ, got it. Can I send those new evidences now and later send? You can if you want. It just depends what situation you're in, which time situation you're in. Fatima, thank you. I appreciate that. Florida Marine, would the VA prescribe me a CPAP without a VA sleep study done? I'm paying out of pocket for a sleep study, but may not have it in time for an appointment. They'll give you a CPAP as long as that sleep study, talk to your primary care is basically what I'm trying to say. Talk to your primary care, let them know about your private insurance, whatever that care looks like. Yeah, you tell them. And they'll go from there. Joseph B says I lost 10 bounces at EAS. That's a good thing, I guess. I lost a lot of muscle mass. That's what I lost. Zero Caution says I'm already service connected with adjustment disorder, with depression and anxiety. At 30%, trying to get an increase. I take medications and talk to a psych weekly. I should be higher, yes. Taking medications and talking to a psych weekly ain't got nothing to do with 50% or 70. Zero, what I want you to do is look at a video I have for 70% mental health ratings. I'm going to link it in the chat right now. And you can look at that. There it is. Take a look at that. All right, your daughter wanted attention. Well, she's got it. She's got the attention. I can tell you that. All right, let's see if we can get through a few more questions here before we dip out. If you go for bilateral factor for flat feet, do you get 50% on each foot, or is that in total? Total. That's the pronation, whatever it's called, for bilateral. TDIU recently awarded, had not worked since 2017. Okay. Can effective date be disputed if given intent to file date? Yeah, if you have the intent to file date, and you believe that your claim should have went back to that ITF date, absolutely. Now, if you're saying, just to be clear, if you're saying you can get back pay back to 2017, that probably ain't going to happen. Okay. But they should have awarded the effective date off of your intent to file. Baby girl, what are you doing? What are you doing, big dog? Oh, you're going to, okay. I think we're going to end it here. Let me just see if there's any questions I can answer really, really fast. Oh, I did see one at the bottom. All right, Jack, we'll end it here. Thank you very much, Jack. I appreciate it. You sent me an email last week saying you couldn't help with my claim. I don't need help with the claim, but I have questions prior to filing it. Yeah, Jack, I'll absolutely answer your questions, but I can't submit claims for you at all. Now, I can recommend you to Delcate Graham, right, if you need help filing your claim. Now, if you just have questions you want me to answer, absolutely send them my way, Jack. I can 100% help you out in that regard. Okay, that being said, she's crazy right now. It's bedtime. Thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream with my countdown video. If you want your picture featured in here, send me an email. I don't need context. Now, I have a few of your pictures I haven't put in here yet. I will get to that. But if you want your picture featured, send it to me. Let me know, and I'll add it in. Thank you for another stream, guys. I appreciate it. Till next time.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over.
This is Whiskey 9 or go.
Whiskey 9 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo.
Negative Alpha Bravo.
And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out.
7 November 8
And 8 Plow, 7 November, say again.
Roger, I said can be about 30 minutes before I come up on the
7 November, go.
Roger, I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my can use
And 8 5, this is 7 November, Charlie.
8 5, Roger.
Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, in reference to your last, you're granted once you get into box at 1200 between teams and local. Also request your unit take ground records to see if we can try to get 59 and 8 for pause into the playground.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that.
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf. My unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Hey, I never took a dip. I forgot to take a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9 Yankee, 7 November Golf, over.
This is Whiskey 9 or go.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9 Yankee, 7 November Golf, over.
This is Whiskey 9 or go.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo.
Negative Alpha Bravo.
And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out.
7 November 8 5,
And 8 class 7 November, say again. 7 November, go.